Viewer feedback response. Had my ass torn off by a viewer. Nevertheless, we're going to tackle this one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. I'm on vacation, hence the backdrop. Nevertheless, I make it clear I always invite the viewers to state how they feel without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored by the host. After all, I invite dissent. I don't have all the answers, neither do you, and the goal is for us to talk it out, hopefully to discuss things that could make ride sharing better for all. Nevertheless, this viewer did tear yours truly a new one. No problem there, but I'm going to read the comment and address it in my own humble way. Here goes. Now, this viewer was responding to the prior video in which I stated I went on took an Uber, had a passenger. I wanted to know a few questions about the local area and particularly some pertaining to rideshare. Was going to give him a handsome tip, but the driver was not very keen to have a conversation with me, the passenger, and made it clear he wasn't even wasn't even comfortable speaking English at all. And I stated that, in my humble opinion, if you're going to be transporting passengers that predominantly speak English, a driver should know the language. Here's the viewer response that apparently disagreed with me almost entirely. This is rideshare, not a restaurant. In either case, I always consider the last passenger may have cost the driver or caused the driver to shut down. I picked someone up for free at cost out of my pocket. You're valuing my time, gas, wear, and tear on the car, etc., when you increase my payout on the trip. It's a donation, not a tip. Wow. People need to be more concerned about compensation for that driver's time because we didn't have to pick them up. So why not say here, thanks for your time in picking me up. Tim, if you're going to lead with a tip downtown, or if you're going to lead with a tip donation, your response may have been different. Okay, now I got several responses to this particular viewer. First of all, the comment starts out with, this is rideshare, not a restaurant. Well, both restaurant and rideshare employees work for tips. So, no, it's not a restaurant, but if you're expecting a tip, we expect a similar amount of quality service just like in a restaurant. So I don't quite get that. But then he said, it got a little bit worse when he stated that I always consider the last passenger may have caused the driver to shut down. Who the hell does that? When you hail an Uber or a Lyft, you don't give a damn about what the last passenger did to your driver. You expect quality service, and if you're paying your money, you sure as hell deserve it. So I don't know where the statement you should be concerned about what the last passenger did. When you go to a restaurant, whether you're dialing up the gas company to ask about, your bill or whatever happened on the last interaction with the last customer is of no concern to you, and you should not be held accountable in any way, shape, or form based on what they previously dealt with. So I don't know where that came from. Then he said, I picked up someone for free at a cost of my pocket. Once again, nobody's focusing on that. We're paying for the trip. Now, keep in mind, this is something that I've strongly was a proponent of transparency with Uber and Lyft, is because the passengers don't know what the hell's going on with drivers. They don't know that you're only getting 20 to 40% of a fare. So when you start talking about doing things out of your own cost, listen, the passengers don't know that shit. Now, I agree with you, maybe they should, but they don't know. So I think you're expecting the passengers to damn near be mind readers. Now, also, when you talk about valuing your time and gas and wear and tear on your car and things like that, listen, to some degree, you got to be responsible for your own actions. You chose to become a rideshare driver. That doesn't mean a company has the right to treat us like shit but you know going in you're going to be putting gas, wear and tear and things like that on your vehicle. And like I stated, because the passengers don't know how much we're getting, nobody's focused on this stuff. So, so the idea that the passenger's going to be thinking about all this or what your last passenger treated you like, I think that's fairy tale stuff. But it continues on and gets even worse because this viewer says it's a donation, not a tip. Who the fuck takes a rideshare vehicle to make a donation? This isn't a telethon. This isn't Jerry's Kids or, some animal donation campaign. What do you mean it's a donation? Anything we give, and I'm speaking on the side of a passenger, not as opposed to it as a driver, but anything we give as passengers or anything we get as drivers that is above and beyond the cost of the trip, it's a tip. No one is getting in vehicles to make donations, so I don't even understand why the word donation even came up. But this viewer stated it's a donation, not a tip. What the hell is the difference in this case? I don't understand that. But he's also continued on to say people need to be concerned about compensation for that driver's time. Once again, the passengers don't know all of this shit. When they get in the vehicle, they assume you wouldn't be taking the trip if you weren't properly compensated. They don't know what you're getting. You're expecting the passengers to be mind readers. They don't realize how bad we're fucking getting ripped off. So I think you're expecting way too much and going far too deep beyond reality. So just to finish this one up, the viewer says, so why not say here, thanks for your time and picking me up? That's not unreasonable to thank the driver. That's not unreasonable at all. But remember, if the driver doesn't speak English, are they even going to understand you're giving them a thank you? Remember, this driver did not speak English in both ways. And if the driver is indicating they don't want to talk to your ass, why the hell would you even say thank you? I gave the guy a $5 tip for a 2-mile trip both ways, so they still received a bigger tip from me, likely than they were paid for the trip. I'm just simply saying I wanted to ask the driver a few questions, and I was going to tip him $10, and I dropped it down to $5. So it's not like I didn't tip him at all, but I do believe if you want tips, it should start with decent customer service, and not being able to speak the language of the person you expect to tip could reduce your chances of receiving a tip. Last but not least, the strongest point where I really have an issue with, Tim, if you lead with a tip or a donation, your response may have been different. Who the hell leads with a tip or donation? I don't know why the word donation keeps coming up, but who the hell's going to lead with a tip? Tips are earned, period. So if I got to lead with a tip, what is your incentive to provide good service? You already got the damn money. I can't take it back. I've never seen a service where you're expected to tip ahead of time. Well, I take that back. I have seen that. And a lot of folks protest against it. A tip is a reward for going above and beyond in regards to service. If you're tipping ahead of time, there's no guarantee the person's going to go above and beyond because you've removed any motivation to do so. You're expecting the person to get in the Uber and before the trip even begins to tip or give the person extra money. Folks, I just wanted to run this by. Let me know in the comment section. Maybe I am getting this wrong, and maybe this driver in the comment section, which I highly respect because I am indeed a driver my damn self. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Let your boy know in the comments about, whether it's a tip or a donation, or whether you believe it would have been in my best interest to pay up front any tip to begin with. It's your boy Tim, as always. Appreciate the input. Whether or not you agree or disagree with me, that's never an issue. I do appreciate this participant's time in sending out a message where they thought I was full of shit as well, which is why I'm responding to it. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.